Welcome to Performance Anxiety. This week's show features actor, model, long-distance runner, and business owner Obi Nwankwo. He broke records in track at Boston College, moved to LA, and began acting and modeling. Obi not only discusses how he got into business, but he also discusses weird auditions, like the time he had to quack like a duck for a part. He gives us info on some new projects he's involved in, how to dress like him, and how athletics helped him with his acting. Follow him on social media at It's Obi Nwankwo. Follow us at Performance ANX on Twitter and Instagram. Merchandise is at performanceanx.threadless.com. Subscribe, rate, review, and spread the word. Now let's get into Obi Nwankwo.
All right, sweet. Hi, my name is Obi Nwankwo. I'm based out of Los Angeles, California. And if you'd like to check any of my upcoming projects, I work on the Crackle TV network. I have a new show called Going From Broke, produced by Ashton Kutcher. And yeah, check out Performance Anxiety because it's lit. Know what I'm saying? Nice.
Awesome. So thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, my guy. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure, man. So it's kind of funny because I try to do as much research as I can on a guest before having them on. You know, I figure if you're taking the time out of your day to speak with me on something that I've created and just posting out there, at least I can do is, learn a little bit about you.
Exactly. You got to do the research.
Exactly. I found out something interesting. Apparently, you are an actor, a high fashion model, and you're also a dentist. You apparently recently acquired...
It says I'm a dentist as well.
Yes. Dr. Obi Nwankwo acquires general dentistry practice in Irving, Texas. So congratulations on acquiring...
Thank you.
Because you've just recently acquired Ultra Smiles in Irving, Texas from the practice owners, Drs. Tim and Marissa DePalma. Doctors DePalma have served the Irving community for over 20 years and are excited to move on to their new chapter in their life closer to home. And the entire staff at Ultra Smiles has been pivotal in making this transition successful. Apparently, not only that, but you also grew up in Rolette and live in La Colinas with your fiancée, Julia.
Wow, they're finding a whole lot of things. Fiancée Julia.
Yeah.
And then Rolette and whatever.
I don't know where that is. It didn't even say it. I'm assuming it's Texas.
So Texas. So there's just like this whole other Obi in this world.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly common name. Wouldn't you agree? Obi Nwankwo.
It's like Chris. Obi Nwankwo. You're going to find them. It's like a Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
What's up, Chris?
John Smith. It's
John Smith, Obi Nwankwo. Yeah. Basically the same thing.
Exactly. Exactly. So I applaud you on, having such range. I mean, acting, modeling, and general dentistry.
Yeah, it's you think you can't complete it all in 24 hours, but you find a way. You got to clean the teeth.
That might be a hell of a commute too, man. I don't know how you do it. Well, you are a track and field star, so
So I run. I just run from set to the dentist office.
You run your ass off.
I model in between the runs.
You look good running, I'll tell you that one.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just doing it right there, like quick little model pic.
Exactly. Mid stride, you're just posing.
Yeah, I'm like, you always got to be ready. You never know.
Exactly. And I didn't even make that up to be funny. That's actually what I found in researching. That's actually legit. So that's. I
got to find out this dentistry. So, I can start getting some teeth cleaning while they're using my name.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, come on, man! You're crushing. You're killing my career. People are mistaking me for you all over LA.
My SEO is just all messed up, bro.
Oh man! So all right. So let's get on to the actual you. Mm-hmm. So not from Rolette, Texas. You're born in Boston. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, that's a lot different from Texas.
Yeah, weather-wise.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, man. I've only been to Boston once, but it was for a wedding. And actually, I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the market. It was amazing.
Yeah, but like, as long as you don't go, like, during the winter, but
Yeah.
Fall, spring, and summer in Boston is like, yeah, it's a different aura because Boston's a very big sports town.
Ooh,
so you kind of get that vibe a lot in that city. And then, yeah, and the food's just amazing. So
yeah, exactly. It was really a different experience because I'd never really gone to a market like that before. It was crazy. So you are an actor, as I said before, a model. You're also an athlete. What came first when you were growing up? Was acting something that was in your periphery, or you strutting around the house at 5, dropping poses, or was it more the running? Was it any of that?
Yeah, honestly, it was real. I would say the first thing came was basketball. Basketball came first, and then as I started to go into high school, I would say running started to really emerge at the forefront, just because it just came very natural to me. I didn't have to really exert much because I was always playing sports growing up, so I was always considered fast. So because I got the most attention from running, I was like, oh, let me just, stick with this. And it helped me like clear my mind, like stay in shape, and actually really genuinely started to just enjoy it. So I ended up, doing it in college, and then I was just like training, being a professional. And that was just, even harder just because you don't really have a structured system. And then you also have to like work full time. So during that period, I was already contemplating, kind of closing the doors on running competitively.
Okay.
And so I had another passion, which was acting and modeling. So that kind of like, when I started to, push that other passion away, athletics, I was able to put more passion into like other things that I really cared about.
So how tall are you? That's a weird question to ask.
I'm like 6'2", 6'3".
Okay.
Depends. Yeah.
It depends. It depends how I'm feeling today. I don't know. I'm feeling 6'2" today.
I feel pretty 6'3" right now.
Because I'm trying to figure out, as a kid, I was athletic until everybody shot up past me, and then I'm like 5'6". So
the growth spurts.
Oh yeah, exactly. I never got one of those. So I was playing football and baseball, but I always hated running just because I was so short. Yeah. It always took me like 2 strides for your one. And so unless I was being chased, I wasn't running anywhere. So exactly. I'm always trying to figure out what people love about running because I don't understand it.
Yeah, for me, it was a way to like escape momentarily, just because like growing up, my family was like very focused on school. My mom, my mom just like always stressed like get good grades, and you'll be able to essentially really dictate where you want to go in life, because you won't have to be like confined to like certain like parameters. So she's like, just do well at school, and do well in athletics. You kind of have more options to do what you want. And so, I really like took that idea like to heart early on. I was like, okay, I'm gonna, these are things that I'm good at, I'm passionate about. So let me just like focus and put a little more time into it. So being in school all day, it's crazy to think that I used to sit in school for like 6 to 8 or 9 hours a day. That's just mind-boggling to me, because you're just sitting in class. I can't even fathom that right now. Like what do you mean? Sit here from like 7 to 2 o'clock. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Like I've got 3 teenagers right now, and they're all doing that, and they're all complaining. Like, believe me, you're gonna wish you were doing that when you get a real job. So
you're like just empty-minded, just chilling.
Oh,
but yeah, and then so by the time after school came, I would just want to like clear my mind, and like running. They call it the runner's high, so I started to feel that a lot. When it's you get in this motion where you don't really feel your body. It's just like it's an ultimate high, and it's just like. And it comes, from running, and that's usually when you get your best times.
I keep hearing that. I have yet to feel that, because all I ever really feel is like tired and pain. I'm just like, I must be running wrong or something, because I'm just like, I've not ever felt this runner's high where I'm like, oh, I got to keep going. It's like, stop, make it stop. Where's my destination?
I think you'll get it if you go for a goal. You know, with running, if you're going for a certain goal or achievement.
Okay.
And as you inch closer to that goal of achievement, you're like working towards something. So your body starts working in motion and with a purpose. So then as you get closer to that purpose, sometimes, you know, you get this little, you know, boom. Oh, that's just like you just like hit another level towards your goal. So
that, okay.
So maybe you need a goal set.
That's a good idea. I've never actually run with a goal in mind. It's always just like, I should probably get back into shape because I've just gained 40 pounds being married. So, you know, it's not. But now speaking of that, you did have goals in mind because you were a member of the men's track and field team at Boston College. And
yes, sir.
You broke a ton of records here. The 300 meter, the 400 meter, and the 4x400 meter. You own the records for those at Boston College.
Yeah.
Did you set out to do that, or were you just really good and they just, oh, hey, I broke a record?
I set out to do that. That was like a really big goal of mine from when I came in, just because I came in injured. And so I tore my quad in high school. So like my senior year. So I really wasn't supposed to run my first year and a half. They said like, oh, you're probably not going to recover. But I worked so hard. I ended up recovering right in time for the season. And so, you know, my freshman year was a little up and down, but I was able to run, you know, a little pain, but I could run.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, and so I remember after that year, I wasn't too happy with I was like, okay, I know I can do better. So I set that goal out. I was like, I'm going to break all these Boston College records. And I was very persistent and adamant about it. And I told people I was going to do it. And a lot of times people would just call me like a cocky freshman or a cocky like underclassman. But because I was just telling these seniors, I'm going to break every single one of these records. And they're just like, relax. And then I was like, no, I'm just going to like work hard and, you know, do it. And
that's awesome.
I would say, yeah. And then that's what happened.
So you set your mind to it and you achieved it. That's fantastic.
But it helped motivate other people. That was the thing I was most proud of, because it helped, you know, form the team around a more of a winning culture. Because excellent. With the 4x4, it's a relay team. So even if I run fast, it doesn't necessarily mean we win.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. So you need 4 other guys. So when we did break the record, it was 3 seniors. So think about seniors in college. You know, the school's over. Like at this point, and we're still running. We're still competing. So think about that. You graduated, but you're still running. Yeah. Okay. And then it was a sophomore, and this sophomore is like never run his he's never really run his best time. So he's not even at his peak. So I was so dedicated and adamant about getting this record for us, and we got it the last meet of the year, our senior year of college. For the 3 seniors, it was our last race ever.
Oh my gosh! Wow, and
I got to bring it home because I was the anchor. Yeah. So like I was the last one to go, so it was all on me, and I was like, I got to do this for the squad.
That's awesome! Oh my gosh, that is the greatest story.
It was a very. I still remember that moment with those guys because it was something, you know, we talked about it for 4 years, and it took us the last day to do it. Like literally the last second, like everything had to work. If one person did bad, we couldn't have gotten it because all 4 people needed to do good. So that was kind of a fun moment.
That sounds like a movie. That could be a movie.
I was like, for 4 years.
Yeah. In a world where it takes 4 years to run a 4x400.
These kids.
So when did you start acting? Was that something you were doing in high school?
No.
You didn't do that until later?
Really, I would say my middle school made us do this thing called the flashback. And so we had to perform like oldie songs. So I would say in like 4th grade, my group was the Beatles. And we performed back in the USSR. And that was
like interesting choice.
Yeah, for some reason we really liked that song, so we performed that. And that was like my real first time on stage, and it was taped. And I was so proud of this fourth grade moment up until like 10th grade that I would still show people like, yeah, have you ever heard the Beatles? Check this out. Play my, like,
if you think the Beatles are good, check me out.
Check me out. 10-year-old me. And so I would say that, I guess that's where my first passion of it came from like that moment. And then I just always, just seeing guys like Will Smith and Denzel on TV, it was always something that was curious to me, but I didn't know how to go about it because sports was, at this point, it was like I had to fully dedicate all my energy to like track. I was doing it in high school, and then it came to the point where I was definitely going to do it in college. So right. I just had to get that focus. So once that was all done with, and then also school, that was like also the biggest time consuming thing in college, being a student athlete, because my days started from like 7 to like 8 at night between class, training, meetings. Like I was also very involved with the team. So, and I was a captain, so I always had to do extracurricular things and meet with people. So my days were extremely just long. And then after 8, you got to go to the library. So I was in the library all night. Every day.
Because you weren't studying acting.
Yeah, I wasn't studying. I was studying finance, management, a little bit of accounting, and leadership.
So, yeah, that's easy. That's easy stuff, right? God, jeez. Yeah. So you're training, you're studying, you're dealing with a lot of math, which to me sounds horrible. So you're doing everything that I hate at this point: math and running.
Math and running.
So you and I are balancing the world out at this point. So. At what point does acting come into the picture then as a possible career?
It came. I would say that summer after I graduated, I worked a project with ESPN and like Core Powers, like a football commercial. So once I got that, I graduated in May. I got that in July of 2017, and then I moved to LA in August and used that to essentially gain attention and get agents. So I got signed out in Los Angeles, and then I just started taking classes and reading books, and I would just practice monologues every week.
Okay.
And just tape myself and just do that every single week. And then I started taking classes, and then it just started me auditioning. And I was always, comfortable speaking because I always had to do a lot of public speaking and like perform. In other ways, being an athlete is also a performance. So,
right.
You get used to like, feeling uncomfortable and being able to like push through it. So I think that helped me break barriers at first because I wasn't necessarily scared to go into audition rooms and be myself because I've always been comfortable like in my body.
Do you find that the discipline you have with your athletics has helped you with your acting at all?
Yeah, I would definitely say so because in terms of, being persistent and putting in the time and effort that a craft really needs, such as acting is an art. So it needs a lot of, you need to pay a lot of attention to it and continuously practice it every single day. So with sports, that's something that I did every single day. And I realized, if I do this every single day, I'll just naturally get better at it.
Right.
So that was the same thing with acting. I was like, if I, keep on practicing or embody what an actor does every single day, whether it's voice lessons, whether it's doing scripts, whether, it's watching other actors' performances, going to shows, if I just live in that space every single day, I will naturally learn from it. And so that's what sports, that's kind of how I translated both of them, the concept at least.
So when you got out to LA, are you acting full time, or did you have another job, or how did everything come about for you?
Yeah, so when I first got there, I was running my own company with my sister, and then I was also working for a consulting company this was my first year.
Wow.
So I was working in AI and like tech and like doing a little programming, and then I was also working and pursuing acting all at night. I would say once I got off work, maybe around 6 or 7, I would just, work on, all my acting work from like 7 to till I fell asleep.
And then so like 1 or 2 hours a day you would, sleep.
Yeah, I did not sleep. My first year, I averaged like maybe around 4 hours of sleep.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So what kind of roles are you getting at this point? Is it, are you looking for more commercials? When you first get out there, I mean, are you looking for commercial campaigns? Are you trying to get into TV shows or movies, or are you just going wherever you're and do you have an agent at that point? And how is everything starting to roll for you?
Yeah. So when I first got out there, I was honestly just trying to, build my portfolio and just see what, I was good at. I was like, I'm open to anything, in terms of like, whether it's commercials, TV, film, print work. I was just open to anything. So I would kind of just, take opportunities, and because I just wanted to get in front of the camera and get comfortable. So I started to get comfortable, and at first it started to be a lot of commercials, and a lot of print work, campaigns like that, a lot of modeling stuff. But I realized that for me to get into the TV and film space, I had to, put in more work. So that's why I started, taking classes and, being more prepared for those type of auditions, because in commercials and print auditions, you're in there for, you don't really have to prepare anything. You kind of just go in. But for a theatrical audition, you got to put a lot of time into the script. Sometimes you get a private coach, you got to be in class, and you just got to be, do a lot of script analysis. And that's something I wasn't necessarily putting a lot of time into. So I wasn't getting those roles. So once I, started putting more time into it and honing on the craft, I would say really in the past year, I started booking a lot of theatrical work rather than just commercials, which was good for me.
Yeah, for sure. And you said you have an acting coach. What I've haven't had too many actors on this show. I think you're the 4th or 5th out of 70 something shows already. And I've always meant to ask this question, and I keep forgetting. So I want to ask you now, what does an acting coach do? Is it like taking classes? And how do they help you out?
Yeah, I would say that they really help you analyze the script, and in a different way that you're not necessarily so looking at it, and they help you just be more grounded and real, because those are when you're just more true to yourself, and it allows you to bring an authentic version, because a lot of actors get in their head, so they start acting. You're like, whoa,
acting.
Yeah, exactly. Just like the typical fake actors are
Shakespeare.
but exactly, Shakespeare. But when you really see good acting, it's very simple. You just believe it's like everyday life. So that's kind of how I would say that's how the coaches have helped me. When
you go see them, I mean, are you seeing them one-on-one, and are they giving you things to practice, or are you bringing them scripts, or are they telling you, hey, here's a monologue from, whatever they decide they want you to practice on? Are they giving you things to read, or are you bringing things for them to help you analyze?
Yeah, usually I bring, for private coaching, that I usually do that before, big auditions. So really anything related to TV and film, I usually have a private coach I prepare with beforehand. And so we'll just bring the material from whatever I'm going to audition for. But then on just a weekly basis, I'm in acting class. So it's like a group of people, and the teacher usually prepares something for the class, or you're working on a piece that you want. Sometimes you can bring in your own pieces. It's just whatever it's a pretty open environment, because they want you to learn what's best for you, like what you want to work on.
Okay. Yeah. Where does the modeling start? When does that come in? And is there, in the information I got, it says high fashion model. What is the difference between high fashion model and just like, regular old fashioned?
I was high fashion. Is just like maybe like more high fashion luxury brands.
Okay.
So brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, maybe or just like big box stores like Neiman Marcus, Saks Fifth. So there's just like any brand that you probably see in Times Square in New York City.
Any brand I can't afford. So you're not modeling like Faded Glory. Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense then. Okay. I'm glad you put it in terms I can understand. So that's good. So how did you get into that? Was that something that just grew out of acting, or was it the other way around?
Honestly, it was just kind of simultaneously happening because I just started taking pictures. I would just do photo shoots because my whole thing was I just need to get comfortable in front of the camera. So whether if it's like the video camera or just the camera, and so I was just doing photo shoots to build my profiles so I could market myself for different acting characters, maybe athlete, boy next door, and just like everyday type people stuff. Okay. So that's how the modeling came about, and then people just tell me, oh, like you should do modeling, and then I started getting booked for stuff. I was like, oh, maybe I'll just keep on doing it.
Hey, maybe I'll just be a model.
Yeah, I was like, let me this. Okay, quit for it.
That's I'm telling you, it's like you hear about people struggling a lot, and it seems like things are falling into place for you pretty quickly.
Well, I also think I had the base, like track gave me a very good base for just life, because at that point I was already in shape, so I didn't have to go through the whole in shape thing. And I was at that point, I learned what dedication and tenacity could do for you in life, in sports and school. So I was like, I had everything that I could do to apply it to acting and modeling, because modeling really just have to be in very good shape. And then you have to be like creative as well, just like more comfortable with yourself. So I got really in tune with my body, because track, you have to be very coordinated. So I became very coordinated. So I knew how to move my limbs and body in certain ways. And I knew how I looked in different angles, because I already practiced that through track in various forms. And then, with school just taught me, and if you memorize and you just focus on this, you can. So that helped me with scripts and analysis, because I already done with math. I was always analyzing, so I was really good at analyzing scripts, and I used to write all the time. So I already had that in me. So I came off school, and so the grind just switched to other things. It was I could track in school out and did modeling, which I could still, work out, and then acting, which I could still was kind of school in a way.
Yeah. Oh, that makes total sense, actually. Is it easy for you or to memorize scripts, or is it something you got to focus on?
I would say it's easier just because I have that mental capacity, to be able to sit down, because, a lot of people, sometimes they don't a lot of people aren't able to just sit and focus on things for long periods of time without getting restless.
Or, some kind of drug to help them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Ritalin or something.
Exactly.
Whatever all the kids are taking these days.
It's crazy. Yeah. So, I was just very, used to because I got drug tested in college, and so that was never an option to take, Adderall or any of those things to focus. So I had to focus the right way.
You had to use your brain. Yeah, you had to use your brain.
Yeah, I got to use my brain.
Yeah. Everybody who goes on auditions, obviously they don't get them all. And a friend of mine is an actor out in LA, and he's been on this show, and he told me some horror stories of weird auditions. What's the weirdest thing that's happened to you in audition? What's your auditioning horror story?
I remember I was in, I think it was an audition, maybe my first year. I was in an audition for like a short film, and it was just a very they wanted me to play like a brother, like and like as part of a family, and just start off as a very normal audition. There's we really like you, and then the lady just started asking me. She's like, can you quack for me? And I was like, pardon?
What?
She's like, can you quack like a duck? And I was like, you want me to just like start quacking? She's like, yeah. And then like, flap your arms and like quack too. I was like,
what?
Are you like fucking with me? I was like, I don't know if like, and I'm just like looking at her. She's like, okay, go. And I was just like, and I just started quacking, and she's like, louder. And she just started telling me to quack louder.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I'm so confused. And then I stopped, and then she's like, we just want to see how like committed you are. I was like, quacking has nothing to do with the scene.
Exactly.
Like, it's weird.
You want to see how committed I am? Hire me.
Exactly. I mean, don't ask me to quack.
Telling me to quack is not going to show you my level of commitment. It's just going to make you. It's going to make me question your decision making.
I immediately started questioning who's in love. Like, you kind of seem a little weird. At least I don't want to be in this project anymore.
Yeah, exactly. God.
Tori quacks throughout the day.
That's good. You start walking down the street like quack.
Should I quack?
Should I quack now?
No. Or you lose the part. Like, damn it.
Now it's in your head, and now you're just wandering around, just going, should I just be quacking? Quack.
Just quacking.
Just like walk down the street, start quacking.
Just living the whole quack all the time. But yeah, that was probably the weirdest thing that happened to me.
Well,
everything's been pretty chill.
Well, that's good, because the one story that I heard was my buddy went into an audition, and he really didn't know what it was for. His agent just sent him there, and he walks into the room, and there's a stripper pole there, and they wanted him to dance around a stripper pole.
I've heard of stuff like that. That doesn't surprise me. That
was insane. And they're like, yeah, just give it a whirl. So he got on it, and he just like took his shirt off, and he's. And if you want to hear the story, go listen to the episode I did with Carl McDowell. It's just oh my gosh, he's a hilarious guy to begin with, and then he just does that kind of stuff anyway. He's hilariously insane. So you end up landing a role in a movie called The Way We Were. Mm-hmm. What? How do I see? I'm trying to figure out which angle I want to start this with. It won the 2019 Cannes Screenplay Contest. Yeah. That's a big deal, man.
Yeah. That kind of like blew my mind. It really did. I've been, the director, his name's Jerome. He's been absolutely amazing. And right now they're actually they want to turn it into a TV show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we're working on. They've been talking to like a lot of people from like BET and like kind of those networks, FX, who are like really like they really like the story.
What's the story about?
It's about these 5 kids in this Los Angeles. They grew up in Los Angeles, and it's based in around the 1980s. But the Los Angeles busing system, it was very segregated. So in terms of, let's say inner city kids didn't really have the opportunity to go to like the best schools because the buses weren't picking up kids from the inner city to go to the Palisades. And then the Palisades, schools like that were like way too expensive, and they would offer scholarships to inner city kids, but then didn't provide the busing transportation for them to get there. It's like, and then these kids are like inner city kids whose parents work all the time. So like, how are they? So it was essentially a way to segregate kids to make them stay in the public schools. So it talks a lot about that. And one of the high school kids, his name's Rico.
Okay. Oh, all right. So that was my next question was what role do you play, and what are their plans for the film? Is the film going to have a wide release, or is it, since it's being talked about as a series? Is it going to be kind of stay just on the festival circuit at this point?
So right now it's staying in the. So we haven't shot the full film, so we shot a short film version of it.
Oh,
and
wow, okay.
The screenplay and the writing of it, and like what we've shot for the film so far has been what's winning the award. So it hasn't even been fully completed. So all the feedback's been, it's going to take way too long to shoot this as a film. You guys need to do it as a TV series, so you guys can shoot it quicker. And like have it released out because it's so current and it applies now. So they're just like, it makes sense to do this now in this day and age, because if you shoot it, then for them to like produce all of it, it could take, it could be really another year or two. So just like, you guys can expedite it now, get this story out. People need to hear it and put it in TV series, so you can like continuously just like build on it, on what's currently happening in society, and like, allow it to go. Yeah. So that's kind of
awesome. That is really wild. And I've never, I guess maybe that's part of the way things are changing now with all the streaming platforms and all, a story like that. Whereas once the movie, doing a feature film would be the way to get that message out and then get as many people as possible to see it. Now that takes too long. Let's do it and let's get it out on Netflix or Prime or Hulu or.
Exactly. Because there's so many streaming platforms out there that, it's in. Look at Netflix and all of them. They put out shows like every day.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I was just talking with somebody about that. It's insane. It's like, I remember when I was growing up, there wasn't even cable. Yeah, I mean, I had I started off. I was hell, I'm in my mid 40s right now. I had like 5 channels, and when cable came on, and I had like 20, I was like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And now it's just gone so far beyond to just, there's as many streaming platforms now as there were cable channels when, I first got cable.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't,
it's wild.
Yeah. And they're not even, they don't have any real structure. I mean, they can say, hey, there's no seasons really. There's no pilot season anymore. There's nothing. It's like, hey, we like your story. Here's some money. Go make it. When it's done, we'll release all the episodes at once, and everybody can binge watch it, and then we're on to the next thing. It's insane.
Exactly. It's wild. Everyone just wants everything now.
Yeah,
that's kind of it's like very instant, like, because it's that instant gratification. Like, look at Instagram, it's like, click on this now, like this now. It's like, watch this now. So everything's like very like, we gotta like do it right now, because it's like, if you don't do it now, then when? So
yeah. And I can imagine that can make it tough and frustrating as an actor, because you see all these things happening now, and it may take a little while before you actually get your break. And so you're seeing things happen immediately, but it, starting your career may not happen immediately.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that's the one thing that you kind of have to like, silence in your head, because from the outside looking in, when you're just working on all these, on your projects and your craft, you're like, damn, everyone's just like, it seems like everyone's doing something, and you're like, I'm still working on this.
Yeah.
But everyone else had time for them, to like work on their project and, for it to develop and like create. So, if you, whenever someone has like a big role, I think the movie Crazy Rich Asians did very well. And then just other movies that have been big in the box office, you look at the lead actors and you're like, who is this guy? And then you look at his IMDb. He's really been in the business for like 10 years, but you've never seen any of his like local short films, festival run films. You don't know.
Exactly. So it's I guess it's, you don't necessarily have to be early on. You don't really want to be too picky about what you do. You kind of want to work and get that exposure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like you want to have like, you want to have somewhat of like a narrow focus, but, broadened enough that it gives you, flexibility and options, because at the end of the day, you never know what's your niche until you like really, try other things out. I thought I only wanted to do comedy, because I felt the most comfortable doing it. But then I started getting a lot of drama roles, and I was like, you know what? This wasn't necessarily how I wanted to go down, but I like it and it's working. And then I started getting more roles where I'd play African characters. So I was like, okay, I get comedy, drama, and like African characters, and like occasionally like boyfriend roles. I was like, okay, let me just put more focus onto these things and, focus on my accent. And then, it just started getting, it allowed me to like, be more diversified. So like my agent could submit me to other opportunities. It's like, that's also started being a very big thing, is they started incorporating a lot of culture into shows, which, that's why you see a lot of British actors, a lot of African actors, a lot of Native American, and like Asian actors, like being more involved in the industry, because they really are trying to incorporate this diversity element into TV, so everyone's represented.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot of different people watching just about every show out there. There's the audience is varied for everything. So, well, would you rather be doing? Do you have a preference? I guess maybe is a better way to phrase it, for action, drama, comedy, or like art films. I don't know. I'm kind of trying to pull out genres out of my head right now.
Yeah, I would say I enjoy action. I haven't been able to do a whole ton of it, but I think that would just be so dope to just be like, like a badass fighter all the time. Like action films. But that also takes, you have to grow into that, because it's got to be the right role. You don't want to just be doing stunts on like anybody's set. Like,
now that's something would you be doing? Would you be offering to do your own stunts?
Yeah, I've been doing my own stunts, like driving cars. Like, I would say, I drove stick. I've driven a couple of sports cars, and I've been doing my own stunts. It's kind of cool, like jumping, like small jumps, not like Tom Cruise, building by building, that jumps and going over. But small little jumps. You're like, all right, good jump. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I did it.
So what's coming up for you in the future? I mean, you've got this. The Way We Were, that's being talked about as a series. What else are you working on in the future? Is there any projects that you can tell me about?
Yeah, so I signed on to a feature film that I'm going to be shooting in the spring. I'm playing an African American rock star, and it's going to be I feel like this film's probably going to be like, it's going to be really big. It's they plan to play it in theaters worldwide, and they've signed on some like big name other actors, but I'm playing like one of the supporting leads in it. So I'm in this rock band, so I'm like one of them, and they're getting like a lot of like big name like current rock bands from like the 70s up until now. So I'm just really excited for that. So that's been kind of like the next thing that's coming up.
That's fantastically vague of an answer. And I love it. But it sounds awesome. You've already got me interested. So.
Yeah, because because I know once they have like the press release out, then it's like everything's like finalized, because you never want to like. I feel like me being like one of the lesser experienced actors in the film, I don't want to be the one.
Oh yeah,
of course he shouts it out.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be the guy that leaks everything. So I totally understand how. I understand the reason for being vague, but I'm actually. It sounds really cool from what you're allowed to tell me. So I'm anxious to see what it's about, and because I'm big into music, so that would be right in my wheelhouse. So
you like rock?
Oh, yes. You need to go.
Going to be real excited.
You need to go back and take a look at some of my previous episodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I saw a bunch of bands like this.
Oh yeah. I mean, and I'm still trying to get some. Well, I'm always trying to get people on. So It's a constant battle of throwing enough shit against the wall and seeing what sticks and who replies back and is willing to come on the show. So it's
exactly.
But I got some really cool people, and so you might want to take a look at some of the back episodes. Maybe be a little bit of research for you. So there you go.
A little research.
Yeah, learn. Do a little research on your role for this vague rock and roll movie you're doing, and. Then you can credit me somehow in there.
Exactly. No, I'm going to throw the credit in.
Mark Shea from Performance Anxiety in non-credited role. Yeah, I'll be a non-credited role. And
uncredited, it still gets credit.
Exactly. Somehow that would be amazing. The non-credited role that gets credited. All right, so I did see. Your picks on solar.com. I liked a lot of stuff there, but I don't think I can afford any of it, but I do like the watch that you picked out. So what is that about? Is that something that you did a while back? Is it new? I'm trying to find a date for that. And
yeah,
how does that stuff come about? Did they like, hey, we saw you in something, or we saw you run the 4x400. You did a great job. What kind of jacket do you want to wear?
We saw that you're cold on the track.
Yeah, exactly. You were shivering a little bit. What kind of watch you got? Because I like that watch. Although I can't wear anything that's blue and orange. It's just I don't like any sports teams that have blue and orange in them, so I can't wear that watch. But I do like everything besides the colors on it. So how does that happen?
So it was really this influential performance kind of, where people, they want to be inspired and shop looks. They can go on this platform and, there's a bunch of like actors, influencers, some celebrities, all different types of genres, athletes. So if you had someone that you're a fan of and you're like, oh, I kind of need some outfit inspiration, you can go on it and see what type of clothes that they would wear. So it's all brands that, that are approved on the platform and that, we like. And yeah, people can just like shop looks on it.
All right. Somehow I have not been approached for that. So if you can work on that for me, I would appreciate that.
I got you.
All right. Before I let you go, tell me a little bit about this show that you're on.
Yeah, so it was a docuseries. So they kind of, I remember I talked to one of the representatives on the phone. They were looking, I kind of told them about my story, like being a student athlete, because at Boston College, I didn't get an athletic scholarship there because they didn't have any for the men's track and field team.
Oh.
Because of Title IX, so they have to have the amount of even male scholarships to female scholarships. So the men's track and field team got left out. But I got an academic scholarship to go there, but it covered about 2/3. But Boston College is a very expensive school. It's over $60,000 a year. Oh. So 2/3, you still got to come out 20 plus K a year.
Yeah.
So
wow,
80K but in total. But when you look at it, it's a $240,000 school a year. But you still got to pay 80K, which is a significant amount. So so kind of talked about my experience, because how I felt, because I put in all this time and effort in being a student athlete there. And then I went and, accomplished all these things on the track. And then to still have to like pay after, even after like they like marketed me, used my name. I was like a very big pivotal part of like them getting recruits and talent. Yeah. And so it was kind of a weird feeling for me. It was a really weird. So that's why I was very open to talking about the show, and I kind of talked about my experiences, going to LA, starting my own company, and then, having to deal with student debt, even though I just essentially gave my body up for 4 years and put my name for the school, and you're still paying. It was a very like weird because when you're there, you're not thinking about how you're going to be paying off your student loan debt when you're in college. Like,
right.
You just wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah, you had records to break.
Yeah. I'm trying to focus on some.
Exactly.
I'm trying to focus on being good there. Like,
Exactly, man. Oh,
so yeah, that was
and that's
a
on
great experience.
And what? That's on Crackle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a Sony streaming app.
Okay.
Crackle TV.
Well, man, Obi, man, thank you so much, man. I've kept you for quite a while here. Where can people follow you on social media and find out about the way we work? You know, find out how they can watch that eventually. Hopefully, find out about your upcoming projects, and I can see you topless on Instagram.
Exactly. So they can check out it's ITS Obi Nwankwo NWA and KWO. So it's Obi Nwankwo.
Awesome. And is that on Instagram? What platforms are you on?
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, LOL.
Oh my gosh! You're on ones that I don't even know about. So my kids know about TikTok. I don't know about. I don't. I think I'm a little old for that one.
Hot on it.
I don't think anybody wants to.
Make you feel viral.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to see me doing anything on TikTok.
You never know until you try.
All right, well, that sounds like a challenge. Oh man.
Exactly. Next time you can be like, yeah, so got 1 million followers on TikTok. Yeah.
And I owe it all to you. You're going to get the credited, non-credited role
exactly.
on
That's my uncredited credit.
Exactly.